very lucky to be a part of the Hire Your Best Boss team. I agree with everything that Terry said. The Houston conference was incredible. We look forward to those weeks every single time. But what I really wanted to talk through were two different brands. And typically we don't talk through a lot of the brand names and things, but the two brands that I wanted to spotlight are actually from the same parent company, and they're called Hello Sugar and Go Glow. And what I
Oh,
loved about
sugar and go glow. This is the
and Go
one
Glow.
time of year, well, actually two, January and July, where we name names. Okay.
Mhm.
We don't do it any other time of year. So two of the names out of the beauty category, Hello Sugar and Go Glow.
Before you go, let me stop real quick. The reason we don't always just give out names, because people ask us all the time. And the reason is sometimes people give themselves research projects and they start death scrolling 10 hours, 12 hours on a company where there is a better way. There's a more efficient way. With that being said, this is the one time, sometimes you just want to name names. So that's why we do it.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to remind the people who
Yeah.
have been on before.
And for
And
anybody that's in here, if you want to save yourself those 10 plus hours of getting down a rabbit hole, you can reach out directly, like Terry said, to the Hire Your Best Boss team. And we're happy to talk through all the ins and outs of things. We're going to give a high level overview today. So, yes, I'm touching on the personal care and beauty category, not just because I'm a female. There are a lot of wonderful, wonderful male owners that enter into this space. But what I love about them much more, like the products are amazing. I actually have gone to both of these places and been a consumer, so I can tell you all about that experience. But the thing that they're doing that I don't feel any other concept is hitting on is they've introduced what they call as a suite model. I'm going to explain this. So, oftentimes when a candidate gets into an investigation with a brick and mortar concept, it just is a longer timeline. You have to find a lease, you have to probably do build outs and tenant improvements. And so it's just a longer ramp. So, for people that come to Ray, Terry, and myself and are like, listen, I've exited corporate America, I'm looking for something that I can ramp quickly, both of these concepts have a 90-day ramp from the day you sign, because what they do is while you're building out that larger flagship location, this concept allows you to find a suite. So think like Salons by JC or any of those rental facilities where you can come in as an esthetician and rent a 500 square foot space. And what that does is it allows the franchise owner to start training their staff, start raising brand awareness. You can have some marketing campaigns go out, and you can also start selling memberships. So the hope is a franchise owner can reach those revenue streams a little bit earlier. And then when they transition to that larger flagship model, they've jumped so many hurdles already. They already have a trained staff of estheticians. They already have brand awareness with people talking about it, and obviously those memberships in place. So that's where I'll start. So at Hello Sugar, it is a waxing and hair removal, but they also just introduced laser. They have an incredible founder. One of the other things we love about our conferences is that a lot of the founders are there and you get to meet with them afterwards in the hallways and ask questions. So I pulled him aside and was asking where he sees the long term going. And he is the epitome of an industry disruptor. He's young, he's using AI. The great part about Hello Sugar is it's an exceptionally lean staffing model. They use self check in, they're using automations. So for somebody that's looking to have a little bit of that lighter touch management style, it fits really well. But the best part is with hair removal, I don't know how many people on here are consumers of that. It's a membership based model, and you tend to have exceptionally high retention. So when people find someone that they know and they trust, it's kind of like a hairstylist, they go to that person again and again and again. So very turnkey ownership model, very flexible ownership options. And again, like I mentioned, they've sped up that ramping open speed to market. So 90 days is when you'd have your doors open.
what's the available management model if a person becomes a franchisee, owner, operator, manage the manager, investor?
Yeah,
What's that?
I would say anybody that's getting into doing franchising should know that there's that heavy lift at the very beginning, right? So even if I were to say it's an executive model, which is like where I do feel the concept falls once it's open and operational, you should always bank on like you're going to find that sweet model and you're going to get open. So it is a manage the manager. You're going to have that key employee. The owner does not need to be in there doing the day to day once it's open. So I would say it falls somewhere between the executive and maybe even possibly investor if you end up doing multiple locations. For anybody on the call that looks to be an empire builder, you could definitely have one main key employee running multiple locations once
All
you're
right.
open.
If you'd like to drill down on any of those management models and understand how you fit into that, all three of us are happy to book a Q&A call and go through that one-on-one. We'll go through the owner operator, the manager, and the investor. Okay. And you can understand your perspective on how you investigate that franchise moving forward based on the management model.
Yes. So
What's
GoGlow
GoGlow?
is, yeah, and I've been there. I have an actual membership to GoGlow. So I'm not trying to say that I have preferential treatment there, but I really love the model. So it is a spray tan concept, but what they've done, it's for people that really want to look for holistic and healthy alternatives. One of my favorite things, if you do check their website, it's all white everywhere. And for anybody that's ever done a spray tan, you know that there's like this orange residue, but they have completely, the founder, Mel, is a genius with product, and she's developed her own proprietary products. They have retail as well, but they have a genius labor model. So exceptionally strong earning potential because it's on tips. So you can keep the cost of your labor really low with a GoGlow, and then they get tipped on top of that. The last time I was down there, again, as a consumer, I asked the woman that was working there, I was like, how long have you been here? She goes, oh, for 4 years. It's the most flexible job for me. I absolutely love it. So like they have, again, very high staff retention. It's a small footprint. And they also do what they call that quick pop-up launch, where they allow within 90 days of signing that suite model where you can start getting people in and creating buzz. So,
Right. So low labor model, I assume. Once again, different management models depending on where you are, how you want to start in your local area.
so what they look for a lot with their candidates are people that are community builders. So for both of these models, you might not be in there running the day-to-day. You might not be the esthetician or the person applying a spray tan, but they want those people that want to empower their community, that want to spread awareness, early adopters as well. So these are newer to the market, which means that there's wide open territory, which is always wonderful to know. And they do you do want to have somewhat of a passion for health and beauty. So for anybody that understands that industry, you might not be a direct consumer to one of these concepts, but you want to have a little bit of a passion for that industry.
Not bleeding edge, but certainly disruption to that old tanning bed tanning model, right?
It's funny that you mentioned that, Terry, because I do have candidates in Florida that latched on to this because of anti-aging is a really big concept at the moment, and lots of people are trying to reverse sun effects. And so I was surprised to hear, like, in those warmer climates where you just assume everybody's out and about in the sun, spray tans are skyrocketing because people want healthy alternatives that will keep that anti-aging process. So
Fantastic. Two great disruption models out of the personal and beauty space.